In a world where one man will DM a game of Shadowrun, Tondi is that DM that's gonna DM a game of Shadowrun. With him is Tim Lanning,
Hey guys!
Jennifer Cheek,
Hey everyone, I'm here. I'm very excited to Shadowrun.
Michael Demaro,
I'm ready to frag that hoop.
Ew!
and I'm Mike Bachman.
And he's only going to talk in that voice for the rest of the podcast.
For the rest of the podcast.
Yay!
It hurts my esophagus.
That's my favorite
Guys,
word.
Tony is not with us
Tony-
right now. But
He's not. No, he's not here. But he will be. So I figured,
So, guys,
He's
while the
taking a little-
DM's away, the mice will play. And so
Yeah.
we're probably just going to talk about, like, Rob
He
Zombie
prefers
for
GM.
half an hour.
Yeah, and so on and so forth.
Sometimes, guys, when I'm watching my kids, I need to take a little breather and just get away, quiet room for a little while, just to get away from the nonsense. I assume that's what Tondi's doing right now.
He's like, these guys are toe worst. T-E-H. I have to take a briefer. So we figure what we
I'm
would
gonna
do.
go pet a wallaby
A wallaby.
and get my blood pressure down,
I'm gonna go get chlamydia from a koala.
and listen to a little didgeridoo.
Yeah, just a little
Um,
of the didgery.
Hey guys, I'll give you 3 guesses what he's gonna throw on the Barbie. The first 2 don't count.
Is it a bloomin' onion?
It's a bloomin' onion. He's gonna throw an entire bloomin' onion. The bloomin' onion is the national flower of Australia.
I've been to Outback Steakhouse, and I know that their signature dinner is vanilla ice cream on top of a brownie covered in hot fudge. I know that that's just what they eat.
On top of a steak. Is Outback Steakhouse? Come on.
Guys.
For realsies, though, in this episode, we are going to talk about character creation. Not necessarily deciding for sure what our characters are and like names and stuff like that, but kind of talking about like how we envision our group.
Right.
Being.
Like, we're gonna take all that mad information we just heard.
Which was a lot. It was over. If you were overwhelmed, we were like even more overwhelmed.
Yeah, in these first 2 episodes, yeah, they're not gonna be as interesting. But you know what they'll do? Teach you how to play GD Shadowrun,
Yeah.
which is crazy hard.
It's hard to listen.
Is
Well,
GD's
interesting, just-
Shadowrun different than regular
Why?
Shadowrun?
Depends on what GUD.
Could be.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's like you have to have it, or you won't understand what's going on.
Exactly.
Right, unless you've already
And I
played.
think it's, I think it's interesting on a different way.
No, it's just it's
Also,
it's background.
Also, sorry, Australia, we know why the rest of the world hates our country.
Yeah, we're really bad.
Oh, I don't understand it.
I mean, just assume that at all times, like, we understand that we're a bunch of dum-dums. Like,
No.
It's true.
No.
And we love you, and we love Tondi.
We love
But-
Tony and Australia, all of it.
But we're the leaders of the free world. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, they pay taxes to us regardless, so.
Yeah.
No. Guys, we're really not xenophobic.
What?
We're not. These are jokes, just in cases. Don't yell at us.
I've never
I'm
even
always
played a
afraid of being yelled
Xenoblade
at.
Chronicles game, so
played
I
half
don't know
of
how
the
you can
first
call me
2.
xenophobic.
So, maybe
Well, that would make you xenophobic because you never played Xenoblade. Sorry.
Tim Lanning, you're making me
Good luck,
upset.
everybody.
You started it.
They're making me upset. I'm trying to create content right now. And how about let's start by talking about common character types, just to get us started. So in D&D, you kind of have you have your controller, you've got your defender, you've got a striker, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Shadowruns is different.
Completely different.
It's completely different, and it was. I think the easiest way to maybe think about different type or character options is there are, I believe, 6. Yeah, there's 6 common character types.
And it seems like, it looks to me as though there's no classes. You just kind of spec one way.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just have to decide how what you want to do, basically.
Right.
Well, Tim, you want to talk about the first one because I feel like you care about it a lot.
Okay, so the first one's called Face. Face is a character concept. He's the guy that is talking to the contracts. He's the guy that is trying to like sneak past the guards, not with stealth, no, with his words. So he's either a charismatic, elbow rubbing so-and-so, or he's like, I'm supposed to be here, right? You know, me. So he's kind of like, he or she, Shadowrun rulebook, very good at using the proper gender thing.
I actually really appreciate that they use she a lot, because I feel like a lot of the like D&D guidebooks is always he, and I'm like, but I'm here reading this. No, I did actually really notice that and appreciate it. It made me happy.
So the idea is, the face runs his fingers over the thrumming strings of other people's wants and needs, playing them like a maestro.
Sounds sexual.
He is a master of the con, a polished negotiator, and often an expert leader. So really, he's just a guy that has really good skills, really high charisma. He's going to try to avoid battle.
That sounds really boring.
What?
Yeah.
No, he's gonna
Like, that sounds like it'd make for a really bad podcast. Like, oh, let's just talk our way out of it and not have awesome action and slice people up with laser swords.
But
Like,
here's
that
the
sounds like
issue,
kind of
though,
bullshit.
is
Oh,
that
that's true.
in Shadowrun you can die a lot easier. So like,
And as everyone knows, Drunks and Dragons' best episodes are our battle episodes.
Well, you can't die easy if you're badass.
Exactly. If you
I
twink.
think.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
called twink.
So this is twinking in World of Warcraft means you don't level up and you stay like, I'm the greatest level 29
I was
PvP.
gonna say, my definition, the definition I'm aware of for that word
It's
is
the gay
a
one.
little different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very different thing.
Yeah.
I guess in this
Oh,
case,
not
it's sort
very-
of like a min-maxing.
Yeah. So personally, I wanted to be a twink because my last character, Lord Titus Harper, was built around cool battle. He's not very good at skills. He has glasses to help him with arcana, but I kind of wanted a neat character that, you know, could do some combat, but combat was not his specialty. He was more for the getting more creds of the mission. He's trying to convince guards and everything. So
Yeah, no, Thrifty, let me convince you on the goodness of a face character. Think of it not as them always trying to get out of combat, but as helping the group get into places that they shouldn't technically be in.
yeah,
Like we're pulling off a heist and we
I'm
need to get
skipping
in
the
a building
minions.
yeah, like making it easier for like us initially.
right.
You're the lube.
I'm the loop.
Here's Onward. I don't want to just to talk, turn it into the Tim blah 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 gab fest. I mean,
Wait, like,
don't you think people get enough of that?
I mean, I
Can I-
agree. I would
Can I
love.
just say that it is about time somebody said that.
Tim, welcome to the airing of grievances.
I've listened to episodes I'm not on, and it's just. We'll do that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we need a person that is like a smooth talker. We do.
I figured that's what I'm gonna end up
Aludra-
doing anyway, so I might as well get goddamn points for it.
Aludra says that they should kill the guy, and Tom agrees, so they do that.
They kill him.
They do that.
Aludra probably wouldn't agree to this. She would like protest weekly and then just do it anyway because Tom bullied her into it.
Can I sidebar real quick? Is this the most hostile anti-Tim / Tim's characters we've ever been? What is happening? I get it.
Your pain is
All right, fine. Fuck you guys. I'm gonna be a troll. Goddamn.
That's what I wanted to do. Okay. Maybe we should let Tim nurse his hurt feelings and move on to the next.
No, fine.
The next common
Okay,
character.
so Tim's a troll named Poop Lord. Next.
Tim, stop shitting in a bucket. I wasn't shitting in a bucket. Tim, roll 5 die for a shit in a bucket. I got 3 once. You died for a shit bucket. You got an anal fissure and died. Like,
critical prolapse.
Oh,
What a great time, guys.
He
Just gonna-
beat Sock to death.
Just gonna go lay on our giant couch.
I'm dying.
Although I feel, guys, do you want to talk about
Spellcaster.
Spellcaster? I know it seems much less interesting than poop death, but.
Speaking of,
Poop death.
So,
Yep.
Spellcaster's he's a magic person.
boom.
They do fucking
Next.
fireballs. That kind of really is it. It's like
I think I played a spellcaster when we played around the table. I barely remember everything, but I think I was a spellcaster. I think either Jennifer or Thrifty was a tech person.
I was a weapons expert. I had like
You
a
were-
million weapons.
Yeah.
My character when we did the playthrough it.
Yeah, I think I was
Hacks
whatever.
last
I was
year.
like half weapon guy, half magic guy, whatever that would be. Maybe an adept.
There's like magicians and shamans and
Different sorts of
adepts
magic.
or whatever.
And again, it's not like, oh, I want to choose the class of face or I want to choose the class of spellcaster. No.
Because it's a lot more broken down. This is just like very general, and there's much more specific types of them. The next one is interesting, and they're called Decker, and we actually talked a little bit about them in the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
So these people hack into the Matrix through the deck. So they're like a neuromancer type person. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems like they work by like they're trying to disabling weapons and like hacking shit.
Yeah, the example they give is, so the three fighters or whatever you'd say run in, start attacking the people. The Decker hangs back, hacks into the like auto turrets or hacks into the friolator to make the friolator turn on so it might explode or something insane like that.
Right.
So,
They're like
which
super
is cool because
sciencey tech person.
exactly, because it seems like this game relies a lot less on the, oh, you have acid orb, or oh, you have strike of the fallen. It's, we give you less so that you can do more.
Yeah, you have to interpret it a lot more.
While having a fuck ton of stuff to, add.
Yeah, you have quite the inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Tondi's back. Maybe?
Hello?
Oh, he's
Almost.
muted. He's muted for some reason.
I think he's.
That is not the same tree.
It's not.
So much so that it's not a tree at all.
I would call it a home.
Well, it's a house.
Not a home.
So you said there's no heart there.
Oh.
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
And then there's the Technomancer.
So they're sort of like magic deckers, right?
That's
Yeah.
my baby, I feel like. I feel like that's right where my heart is.
It seems like, so I'm thinking more of like Mass Effect here, right, guys? So in Mass Effect, you'd have the magic guys, which would, bend the effect fields or whatever, and they would hurt people by shooting like a black hole at them. But the tech people would like blow up their comm links inside their head. So I think that's kind of what they do.
Yeah.
And it seems like a thing that these people are kind of born with the ability to do this, and no
Yeah.
one really knows exactly how they're doing it.
Yeah, it's kind
They
of like a
just
weird
can.
thing.
So it's like a new evolution of not humanity, but
Meta-humanity.
Meta-humanity that it's like a magic technology thing.
Right.
Really interesting.
So they seem very powerful and scary.
The next common character type is a rigger, and I was really interested in these. So it's like the people who the description is some people drive cars, other people use vehicles as an extension of their body, like an additional set of limbs. So they basically control machines
Yeah.
and do things with that. Like one of the ones that I was looking at was a drone rigger. So like they control drones,
Like Obama.
You-
like Amazon.
You basically want to be the Shadowrun equivalent of Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul, I was thinking more like imagine me as like a Radagast, but of drones.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of having dumbass birds and rabbits, you got dumbass bird and robot rabbits.
Yeah.
It's like you're like the Ratatouille of the Shadowrun world.
I have not seen that film. I believe it is about a rat that cooks things, though, so I don't know
Yeah,
if that
yeah,
makes sense.
and you're cooking up damage.
I am. Oh, that's so true.
Mixing paprika with this shotgun shell.
Delicious. Tastes nice.
Yeah. And it seems like it's this weird concept of, instead of saying, like when Jennifer was briefly a druid in the Dungeons and Dragons,
Remember those
she
times?
remember those? Peace.
Oh.
She could like call out a person, a spectral tiger or frog or whatever, and be like, "You there, attack!"
Do one thing for me, Froggy.
Oh, thank you. the rigger seems like they go inside of the eyeballs of the robot.
So it could be like surveillance equipment, or like they're like snipers. Like, so like I know when I was reading about it, it's like you could send in like a sniper drone like ahead of your group and like take out like the head person and then like rush them.
Yeah.
Things like that. So you're providing backup from afar.
Yeah, and like Tandi said though, if your robot bunny rabbit explodes, you're gonna be like, you're gonna be forcefully ejaculated.
Ejaculated. Oh,
Say what?
ejected?
Dumped.
I don't remember saying that.
That's
He's like, I need to correct this wrong.
No, I think I'm right.
Ejected.
Ejected.
Is what you're trying to say.
Forcefully.
Gross.
Against your own will.
And then the final category
in the world of Shadowrun, that might actually be a thing.
Oh.
You have to spend extra creds on that.
Oh god. Anyway, so the final common character type is the street samurai, which sounds super badass also.
Yeah, and all of
They
these
like spec themselves out
Yeah.
pretty much.
they either A, buy dope ass weapons, or B, buy dope ass weapons and also buy new arms.
Yeah. So they're like they're like the person who could deal a lot of damage and also take a lot of damage.
They're like fighters.
I would just like to point out that the actual definition of ejaculate is to eject or discharge abruptly. So,
Okay.
nailed it.
Alright, Tim.
Yeah, I remember in high school we would read old ass books, and they would say all sorts of terrible words, and one of them was ejaculated.
Mm-hmm.
Huck Finn said another bad word and then ejaculated.
So,
I don't remember that chapter.
It's two.
For a cyber samurai, like you might think you're cool because you're walking down the street with some glasses that can see in the dark.
Uh-huh.
A cyber samurai would have replaced his eyeballs with mechanical ones that can see in the dark.
So whereas I'm singing, I wear my sunglasses at night. He's like, I got new eyeballs at night and day.
And all day. All the time I have new eyeballs.
Mother, let me see you again.
Yeah, it's just like I guess they have like tons and tons of cyberware and bioware.
So it seems like you can go mundane. You can go magic, or you can go tech, and then you kind of like go into those areas. And just like any video game with a party system, you could be like, I might distract people, or I might do heavy damage, but I can't be touched. Or I want to be stronger at, different circumstances. What do you dang guys want to be?
Oh, I have like several different things I would be probably happy with doing, like, or at least I had like several things that called out to me when I was reading through them.
Jennifer, go first, please.
So, well, first, like, I always first think about like what race I want to be. That's kind of where I start.
Okay.
And I
Meta-human, please.
what meta-human I would like to be. And I don't want to be a dwarf for obvious reasons, because the leader's a dwarf, and that seems silly to do the same thing.
I don't think they've got beards.
Well, no.
What's that?
True.
No
And I
beards.
like never want to be an elf either, because I feel like that's such like a fantasy trope, like girls with being beautiful elves. Like, I don't know, I just try not to do that.
How dare
So
you.
I was interested in either. I'm really feeling like maybe an orc. I feel
Yeah?
like I might want to be an orc.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
So when you're picking your meta character, your race,
yeah.
there's a couple of things to bear in mind. It will change what attributes start at and what they can be limited to,
Yes.
and your starting edge. So
And there's a
humans,
chart.
because they're mundane, get
There's a chart that kind of
Yeah.
tells you like which one gets. Like if you, I know like one
most
issue with like trolls was that I guess like things cost a lot more for them, so you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, because they're ugly and bad.
Well, because they're huge. It's because they're.
Oh, yeah,
because
they have to
they're
have,
really
like,
big.
special armor. So.
Yeah. So like, each one has its benefits and cons.
But for character generation, it's actually also really important because it will cross off in the priority chart one section. So have you guys talked about the priority
No,
chart?
maybe we should.
No,
talk that
we just
first,
talked
actually,
about,
before we-
The common character tropes and so forth.
Right. So this is you need to pick what's important to you, but the way that Shadowrun works for character gen is it uses a priority chart. A lot of systems use point buy systems or random rolls, but this kind of does a little bit of point buy, but I've never really done anything else with a priority chart like this. But basically, you've got a grid, and you've got rows and columns, and once you've picked a priority, like there's meta type, so once you've picked, for example, you want to be an orc, which means you can pick A, B, or C. Once you've picked that, you can no longer pick A for attributes,
Okay.
magic or resonance, skills, or resources.
So you're basically just going down the list and being like, what's most important to me?
Yeah, and when I first saw the priority table, I was mad confused. And I was like, this sounds ridiculous. Yeah. Why would you not just choose A?
So, so how it works is you pick an A, B, C, D, E for meta type, and that has a different limitations on what the meta type is. And in brackets, it gives you a number which tells you how much starting edge you've got. So you could start with no edge as a troll, or you could start as a troll with 5 edge. Then in the attributes, it's a ever, like for all of these, it's an ever decreasing number. So priority A is always the best. So you've got 24 attribute points to spend, but if you pick or end up with E, you've only got 12. So same with skills. So you've got 46, well actually kind of like 56 points to spend compared to 18 for E.
Yeah.
So it really will depend on a couple of things. So how I tend to recommend you go about it is first work out if you're going to be a magician or a technomancer. Because if you're not, you can cross off an E in that column first, and then that's then you've only got the other options to go with.
Yeah, you can just be like, I'm a mundane, therefore I don't need any of these dumb things, so let's work with it.
Right.
So yeah, I guess so basically you just decide if you want to do magic or not.
That seems like a pretty good first step.
Yeah. What? On the priority table, one thing I didn't understand was what is the thing that's next to the meta type? It's like human 9, elf 8, dwarf 7.
That's your starting edge.
That's your starting edge.
So
okay.
Yeah. So it's not the worst you can be, but if you want to be a straight up human, you could be human with 1 edge for E, which means, and remembering edge is the kind of thing that lets you break the rules.
Right.
Or you could be a human with 9 edge, so every second roll you're going to use edge to punk the DM kind of thing.
That's crazy.
And I think the way that I kind of read it for 5th edition is that column, you get a certain number of points. So if you want to choose A, then you get a lot more points. So for humans get 8, then elves get 9, then dwarves 7. And you can use that for either edge or resonance, it looks like. Because what I read, it said you use that special attribute points for either edge or resonance.
I think that one's just edge. Resonance is specifically in the magic or resonance column. So like a level A technomancer can have resonance 6. Level C can have resonance 3. You can increase that by spending karma, which is your experience points, but some of those are restricted.
Yeah. In the example, he's using these numbers for both edge and resonance, though.
Ooh.
In the handbook, if you go down to page 67, it says an example of the fellow James. James gets 3 special attribute points that he wants to spend on edge and resonance. James assigns 2 special attribute points to resonance, giving him a total rating of 2, and assigns 1 special attribute point to edge.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, well, in that case, you could probably spend it on magic as well.
So if you want to be a weirdo and then go around the bout.
So you've got some things you can customize more.
Yeah, it seems like there's 3 total categories that are spending points, and then 2 categories that are, 1 obviously is how much money you get, and 2, the other one is magic or resonance, and you kind of like choose one path or the other as you so choose.
So should we...
Just to give you the long view of this, you choose your priorities, and then you go through and you buy or use those points that you've got in your attributes to assign them to your attributes, assign them to your skills, and then go shopping with your resources. And if you're a magician, you've got to buy spells.
Ooh.
Now, what the order of doing that is actually different depending on when you want to play. For example, if you want to be a street samurai, before you even do attributes and skills, one of the things that I'd do is probably go spend the money on your cyber tech and see what you really want to kind of put into you, because that's going to give you boosts that will affect your attributes and skills. So depending on what you are, depends on how you do that. Usually the buying is 1-for-1 though, so you can always come back and change things. It's just because there are so many things to buy, it is a bit complicated.
Yeah. I was looking at the item list. I kind of wanted to throw up upon myself. And,
There's so many things.
yeah, it's just ridiculous.
So should we just all... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Did you want to go through and do Jennifer's character, kind of the priority table?
God.
Well, I think we should all say what we want our role to be, right?
Right. Because I know definitely I said face, but I'm totally down with switching, especially since you guys hate me.
What you're saying, Tim, is that you just want to save face.
In D&D, like in very different to D&D, because there is so much in this book. Did I just drop?
No,
No, you're here.
Okay, cool. Like in D&D, you're meant to have a controller, you're meant to have a defender. If you don't have a defender, your striker's probably going to get smashed and stuff like that. This, not so much. So you could have 2 street samurais that one focuses on range, one focuses on melee. You could have 2 magicians. One does healing and illusion magic. One does like damage. Or
So
one
as long
does...
as you're like literally not exactly the same thing, it's fine.
Yeah, it's very versatile in that way.
Interesting.
But yeah, so it's up to you how you guys want to assign those.
I'd be
roles.
interested to hear like what everyone was like attracted towards, the like what
Yeah, it's just for
sounded
funsies.
cool to them.
Jennifer and I have both said what we kind of think is interesting. Michael, Thrifted or Tomorrow? What sounds fun to you?
Man, I am sort of all over the place. Because I think if none of you guys picked either a technomancer or a decker, we should have one of either of those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm saying exactly the opposite of what Tandi just said, but
Still, he's trying to trick us. Never trust a dragon.
To keep it interesting.
Well, what you say is true. Like, there's no, if you guys decide we're not going to have a decker, you need to kind of fill that void some other way. Usually it's with contacts.
right.
Yeah.
Just bear in mind, the character you choose should also, and this is the less fun aspect of it, also be determined by how much reading of rules you're willing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes complete sense. Like, I'm sure there are some that are more difficult to play than others.
Because a decker needs to understand the matrix a bit, how devices work, how to hack devices.
Yeah.
And it's like a whole different world that other people just can ignore completely.
Yeah. And friend of the show, Nicholas, may pronounce his name, or try to pronounce his name right, Starinsky, says that decker might be kind of tough for us, especially from like a podcast standpoint.
The Dice Heroes do have a decker running, so.
But it sounds like they're
It's
also much more
like-
familiar with Shadowrun in general. So like, it sounds like they maybe are more up for a challenge.
There used to be a time where a decker kind of sat in a building far away from you, and you did the run, and the decker was kind of just opening doors and stuff to you. That's not really the same anymore. So like, if you want to be a decker, be a decker. I will try and make it fun for you.
I feel like if anybody in our group
sounds
could
great.
play a decker, it would be Thrifty.
Yeah.
Does Bachman think that he wants to be
Are
a
you
decker?
the decker?
I was actually here's what I did was I looked at all the different character types, and I was like, I picked one before reading what they were, and then I read them, and I still was kind of on board, but I was kind of a little bonered up about the Technomancer.
Yeah.
But not if it's gonna be like soup's hard. I don't know. I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm up to the challenge, I think. But if it seems like it'd be better, if it'd be more beneficial for us to have a Decker than a Technomancer.
It definitely sounds like we'd have both.
We can have both, yeah.
Right.
Well,
but,
I mean, a Decker and a Technomancer are kind of two sides of the same coin or something.
That's the way.
Like they're sort of the same. They sort of do the same thing, right? Just one does it with magic, one does it with tech.
I think they're both tech,
that right?
but they're like weird about it. I think.
Well,
like,
the Technomancer gets in with magic, though, right?
Yeah. Or with something that no one understands.
They both would be probably doing the same type of things. So hacking devices, trying to turn off the cyber bully's eyes, stuff like that. Probably.
Yeah.
So we probably need someone to like just beat on some fools.
Yeah.
That needs to be which I actually I was looking through like the more detailed characters later, and I was also looking at combat mage mostly because it sounded awesome. I just want to like whack some people.
I was thinking either face with a bit of adept added in, or like mystic adept.
Yeah, and Thrifty, you decide what you want to be in. I'm 100% willing to pick up slack in any area.
And it seems like if one of you wants to be a Decker and then one of you wants to be Technomancer, one of you would just be like, hey, I'm going to go more combat, and the other person chooses more whatever skills.
Well, I could definitely see myself doing Street Samurai as well. So
Street Samurai just sounds so awesome. Like
it sounds dope. It actually sounded a little too dope for me, so I kind of shied away.
Yeah, this is too dope for me,
Yeah,
man.
and the handbook gives you way more other classes.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
True story. I kind of worried that if I had gone Street Samurai, that it would just end up being another Tom.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, and I think the best for these is trying to break the mold.
Yeah.
I think I might do a Street Samurai that's heavily addicted to Nova Coke. And, just
out of it all the time.
Just be miserable.
Help. I have 10,000 karma because I'm bad. I'm addicted to everything, and I have sinus infections.
Well, I know, like, I was initially attracted to the drone rigger, but I was researching a bit and saw that one of the downsides of it is that drones are expensive, man. You gotta have monies to get all your sweet drones. So, I don't know. And they get...
just prioritize resources.
Yeah.
Done.
True.
To have lots of money. I don't know. I don't know what I want. But see, and then I also saw a character who's an occult investigator.
Ooh.
I was like a person that was like, hey spirits, who killed you? Also tell me cool spirit things.
Tell me fun things about
So
you.
I feel like I have like several different kinds of characters that are extremely different that I'm interested in. So I could be happy doing a lot of things. I just don't want to be... I just want to be different than Eludra, is all.
I see.
I'm trying to push myself.
You want to move on past the normal...
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think we're going to have to think about it some, but maybe we're coming at it the wrong way. Like, maybe we need to first think, like, magic or not magic, and then go from there on the priorities chart.
I definitely want to do a guy who's full of robot parts.
Yes.
So either those robot parts help you get inside other robot parts or to punch people in their faces.
Yeah. No, I think I'm going to do the Street Samurai.
Street Samurai.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Love it.
I think I'll lock myself into Technomancer then.
Sweet.
Jennifer?
I don't know. I don't know if I'll be locked in.
All right, well, I'm going to be a adept face.
Okay. Well, guys, should I...
I'm an elf, by the way.
Should I be a
Yeah, I
person...
bet you are.
Should I
Fuck,
be
I
a
am.
person who does drones or a person who does magic? Do we have anyone that does magic?
I'll do a slight amount of magic, but barely any.
Oh, yeah, yes, that's right.
but not much.
Drones. Well, Bachman does magic.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah, sort of.
Todd,
Well, not really. When I'm looking at the chart, it's
Yeah,
saying-
it's kind of half-assed. It's not really magic.
It's not your resonance or whatever it's called.
Yeah, so what resonance is, unlike a Decker, a Cybermancer makes things as he goes. So a Decker buys programs to help him hack. A Cybermancer makes it out of the Matrix. So he kind of summons things from thin air to make the equivalent of summons, which are sprites, and like
Obey your
programs.
thirst.
So yeah, so it's all coming from nothing. So it's not magic. Well, it's Matrix magic, I guess. That's one. That's one of the reasons they're a little bit scared, because it's like magic in this artificial world.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Wait, but isn't there actual magic in the world?
Yes,
Like,
but
why
the
would a
Matrix,
different type of magic?
Because it's new.
And they don't know how it
Because-
works.
that magic has always been there. It's part of the world. We made the Matrix. It's an artificial thing. How can...
It's like when Neo started to do like Matrix shit in the real world. That wasn't allowed. That's fucked up. You know, when he stopped, spoilers for the Matrix, the film. When he stops,
Great.
when he stops with those robots in the real world, I know I jumped out of my seat, lost a hefty amount of my popping corn.
And walked out of the theater.
Like, no, sir. Yeah, but if you
So
look at
is anyone-
the priority table, it kind of gives you the middle column gives you sort of if you're going to choose high on this is probably the classes you want. So you can have like a magician / adept or technomancer, or technomancer / aspect magician. So you get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of A, a little bit of B.
They're like that magic and resonance are part of your dice pool for a lot of those actions. Is that right? So like Magic 6 is like 6 is the natural limit for a lot of attributes. So Magic 6 you can't really go any higher. So if you just want to be a combat mage, you'd want to take that to make your attack pool as big as possible.
Yeah.
What would so if I'm looking at my dude, I'm looking at the priority table. So I'm gonna do a street samurai, so I don't need magic, and I'm gonna be heavily modified, let's say, made of robot parts. What would you prioritize?
Money.
Like, yeah.
You're going to need money. You're going to need... Well, would you like to shoot people, or would you like to cut them in half?
Ooh.
Or both?
That's a pretty easy question, I feel like.
Is it? It's so boss.
Well, see, I was thinking about maybe not doing... I was thinking about doing a human, just to get as much like edge as possible, without having to prioritize meta type too much. So I don't know if I want to be like a giant troll who's like in melee and just slugging away.
Is it bad that I already consider Thrifty's character, like, I picture it as Samurai Goro from F-Zero? Just like super fat and squat with like a samurai sword.
Hey, I don't know who you're talking about, but that makes me laugh. But
I'll give you a link.
and also the when you go down the meta type attribution table or attribute table, they're not so different as I kind of expected.
Yeah.
Like they all have their maximums and their starters. So like humans are pretty average, which is pretty standard. They get a higher edge. That's it. Elves get higher charisma and agility. But like trolls and orcs just are, less logical or less smart or
They're bigger.
charismatic.
Well, actually, what we might do, because this is quite a complicated character gen, is instead of picking and trying to build someone and ending up with someone you don't like, we might just go through, once you've picked, what everything is, and that way you'll see the skills and you'll be able to say, oh, I really want to use bows, or I really want to use machine guns. What do I need to do that?
Yeah.
And you can work back from there. So once you've picked your priorities, you'll know what race
Hmm. I wonder, like, as far as skills go, having a lot of them, is that like, I mean, are you going to be using like a bajillion different skills? Is that going to be that important? Or,
Definitely. But
yeah,
before we jump into skills, because that's kind of a big topic, you
right.
might want to have a look at qualities. So a lot of the times I find that qualities, you'll see something and that'll be like, ooh, I want my character to be affected by gremlins, which affects so your technology is going to be bad. So I'm going to build my character to not be a decker, or you can build things around those. But I find the qualities can sometimes give you little inspiration for your character.
Mm-hmm.
So every character's got karma to spend, 25 karma, which is your starting experience, and these qualities are fairly random. Like they could be about personality, like an addiction, or they could be just a character trait, like you could be really easy to spot. You might have something that's really, really like a tattoo that is pulsating with light.
Yeah,
that
like
you got.
a giant scar, face tattoo, or something insane like that.
There are also some really cool stuff in there, like Quick Healer, which will just give you bonus to heal. Things like being
One of the
lucky.
things I would probably choose is if I was going for an elf, I would choose like passable human, so that I could avoid a lot of or most racism towards elves.
You might also see things like ambidextrous and it's like, ooh, I want to dual wield, and then you're gonna have to make some character choices to actually get that going properly.
Right.
And there's also negative qualities. So you might say, like Thrifty did, I want to be addicted to Nova Coke.
No.
And then you need, and these usually have a severity, and same with
Very
allergies.
addicted.
No.
Addicted as hell.
Like Jesus Christ, calm down.
Weak immune system. Wait, what is... Okay, so I'm saying elf poser and orc poser. What does that mean?
Then you're a human or whatever trying to be that person, and people think you look like an idiot.
That's so silly.
So the only thing a elf racist hates more than an elf is an elf poser.
It's like, why would you want to
Someone
be
who wants to be an elf.
Bro, pixie. Yeah.
Uncouth.
Yeah, and that's a cool thing. If you wanted to get extra karma, and you're like, I'm not gonna hack stuff, so I'm gonna be the guy that the moment you put a cell phone in his hand, he's like, where's the buttons on this?
What?
How do I call home? Where's the any key? You know.
So the negative qualities give you extra karma, and at the end of it all, you can use that karma to buy a couple of extra skills or bump up an attribute and like round out your character a bit.
Yeah. So I was thinking that I would have a low-level addiction to alcohol because he's so used to wining and dining that he would go out, but he's kind of gotten used to it. And maybe he has a live-in girlfriend.
That's a negative quality?
Yeah. Bitches be crazy. Just kidding.
Oh, where is that on here?
It's a dependent.
Yeah, I would like to be at the burnout level of addiction.
No!
Which means that I need 3 doses of Nova Coke every day,
No.
How much is
every
Nova
3
Coke?
hours.
or I take a -6 penalty to mental or physical-based tests.
You're just like shivering.
Seems fine, right?
How much does Nova
So-
Coke cost?
Your samurai's going to turn on you for a hit.
Yeah.
No!
That will work well for me.
No, don't. Have like allergic to like dogs. Do that.
Bees.
Yeah.
I think I'll be a decker with code block.
Like,
I want gremlins.
You know-
It's like gremlins around me. Like, they won't leave me alone.
is that what that means?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just interpreting things.
Go to page 81. I don't think it means that.
It probably does. It's like a group of gremlins. Characters with the gremlins quality don't get along with technology. Oh.
Yeah.
That's not as cool as being
You're-
carried by gremlins.
Yeah, that means you're a grandfather.
Oh, that's perfect for a Decker.
That'd be perfect for,
Hey, Bachman,
for
you
a
could-
mage person.
Bachman, you could be uncouth. That'd be easy for you to play.
Oh, no.
I just
I don't
burned
know what
you.
that means.
Burned as heck.
It's not a burn if I don't know what it means.
Burn.
Bird.
Just keep
I
saying
could
it.
also be like have a distinctive style because it could be swag as hell. So like, oh, that guy.
Thrifty, did you just say I had autism?
What?
Distinctive style needs to be more than clothing, doesn't it?
I think it's a lot of stuff.
Maybe he has like a really dumb hat that he wears.
No,
What?
bizarre fashion.
Like that
So
mountain
it would,
hat that Pharrell wears.
Yes.
it would have to be out there though, and it'd have to be something that you've constantly got because it helps people remember you.
I never leave home without my crazy hat.
Oh my god. What about, okay, so I'm looking at the Scorched one right now, and that one's really, it's basically like something's wrong with your brain. It could be short-term memory loss, long-term memory loss, migraines.
You got ejaculated
Paranoia?
too hard.
You did. Blackouts. Oh man, that is really interesting.
I don't know
like
if
the
it's still in
idea
there.
of being like, oh, migraine, I can't. Have to go lay
The
down
best
in the dark room.
one. The best one used to be one called neural bomb or something, and basically you've got a bomb in your brain that the GM can decide when it blows.
No.
Oh, so like, like our current D&D game, basically.
Yeah, been there, done
Sound
that.
familiar? Yeah, because I don't want to keep you guys up till it's morning. We might have a look at skills. So
Yes.
have a look through them, see if there's something cool. Skills. So most of the times when you're rolling something, it's going to be attribute and skill. But skills, there are a lot more skills than attributes. So if you guys take a look at, I think 151,
Mhm.
you see a table that kind of says each of these skills uses this attribute. That should give you a pretty good idea.
So yeah, so if you want to be a gymnast, you want agility, or if you want to, have animal handling, Jennifer, get charisma. So these are from the skill points that we chose for a priority table. You're like, I want 9 points into leadership. I want 27 points in free fall. And then
Yep,
I'll yell
there are
out,
limits.
follow me, and then jump off the cliff.
The limit is 6, but I believe you can have any amount at 6.
Okay.
It used to not be that, but I believe the limit's just 6.
Okay.
Now the other thing, if you turn the page, you'll see skill groups. So in that priority table, it gave you 2 numbers, a larger number and a smaller number. The second number, which is smaller, is the points you can spend on skill groups. So instead of buying individual skills, you could say I've got 6 in the close combat skill group,
Got it.
which means blades, clubs, and unarmed combat are all at 6.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Does that cost more?
It's
What do you
like a
want?
different pool, so you'll have one for individual skills and one for skill groups.
Got it.
Once you've bought them in skill groups, though, you can't then use skill points to increase individuals.
Okay. So if, let's say I wanted to be a katana master, I would go like edged weapons or whatever, and then I would go the group of close combat.
So if you wanted to be a katana master but not a club master,
Uh-huh.
you just spend the skill points in blades.
Okay.
But if you wanted to be good at blades, clubs, and unarmed, so if you just want to be bomb melee, you'd buy the group with as much as possible.
Interesting. Fascinating. Why would you choose the individual skill as opposed to the group?
You'll
Because you
find situations where you don't want, you might want to have a high etiquette but not leadership or negotiation. You don't have many skill group points to spend, so.
Oh, got it.
Right, yeah, you got way more for individual skills than skill groups.
Where are we
Is that
finding how many we get of those?
That's
In the priority table.
that's way back in the priority table.
So you have to decide what you get, basically.
Got it. I completely understand now. The slash. So you said
Yeah.
35 of these, 10 of these.
Guys,
Right.
all I know is that there's a conjuring group which really calls out to me because I can banish and bind and summon things.
Ooh.
Right. So like if you pick priority B for your skills, you'd have 36 skills but only 5 skill group points, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you couldn't get a group up to 6.
Right, unless you prioritized it A.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Got it. That makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need to think more.
I think I need to
Yeah.
think more. This might.
This is a lot to chew on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have
I think
homework.
we're gonna have to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
some serious
no worries.
homework.
So we come back
No
next
worries.
time and talk about our decisions.
Yeah.
maybe.
It's a. I think we are not locked in. I expect we're gonna get an email sometime next Tuesday. Be like, guys, I changed my mind.
Yeah.
I'm a bunny.
I feel like I already have kind of changed my mind even while talking to Stick, because before the episode I was like, I'm really interested in Drone Rigger, but now I'm going more towards magic side.
I have
Yeah.
a feeling somehow I'm gonna end up being a House by Dallas Griffin rider. I don't even
How
know.
does this doesn't even make sense in this world?
Now, most of these people don't have tails, but
All right. So once you've spent those points, you're not done with skills yet. You also get knowledge skills, but to work out how many knowledge skills you've got, it's based on your attributes. So you need to do that step first.
is there an
Knowledge
electronic
skills is
character
what you know, and
generator
you've
or
gotta-
something?
That'd be
Is
nice.
there a thing where we can press a button and it picks it for us?
Yeah.
We're not
If
smart.
you
Or
want
is
to do
there
it
a
like
character
that.
up
There's
to
some ex.
character op board on Shadowrun website?
Help me.
I've only heard the mythical information about the Shadowrun boards. I have not actually experienced them.
I'm gonna research this.
But those knowledge skills are pretty much up to you. So you could be like the street knowledge or local gang knowledge, or it's kind of a little bit more free reign about what your character actually does.
Got it.
The other thing about skills is you can specialize. So you could say, and a specialization gives you an extra dice, costs 1 point. So you could say, I've got 6 in blades, and I specialize in katanas. So anytime you're using a katana, you get a little bit of a bonus.
Dang.
And then we use our money at the beginning to be like, I buy a katana. As opposed to be like, I forgot to buy that, I have a rock. And I don't do well with it, I'm sorry.
I'm not trained in rock.
I've embarrassed my family and you.
So I know you guys are suffering from a bit of information overload, but
A bit.
I'm going to continue through. Once you've got, so make sure you get your attributes and your skills, if they kind of are combined, so you got to do them together a bit. Then you got to get your contacts, which is really important and a lot of times forgotten. So your contacts are who you know, who gives you information, who's loyal to you, and you kind of, once again, it's another pool generated from your charisma. So I think it's your charisma times 3, and then you can spend those points on to create contacts. What I'd like you to do is create contacts that might be reusable. So if you all want to know a street doc, then we could make that one character. He might be more loyal to Tim than he is to Thrifty.
Okay.
So
But
to let you know
you don't-
beforehand, so you can invent your accent, so you don't have
Yeah.
to pull a Thrifty and be like, I know Roz, but I'm confused by everyone else.
So yeah, you don't have to do that. Like if your character's a bit of a loner and you don't want to, you want your own separate street doc, that's fine too. Okay, and then shopping.
Yeesh.
Okay, so if you're a cyber samurai, the first thing you should do is look at your cyberware and Bioware. And there's some specific rules. When you're doing shopping, every item has a device rating or a legality. Don't know what it's
Right.
called. But your limits are a device rating of 6, so 6 and below, and 12 and below for illegality. Legality, availability. So availability will come with a number and then sometimes a letter. If it doesn't have a letter, it means it's legal. If it does have a letter, it means it's restricted or forbidden. If it's restricted, you need a license. There's rules in here on how to get a license. like a fake license.
Yeah.
Yikes.
If it's forbidden, it's so bad that you can't get a license for it. So you just can't let anyone see it.
So, okay. Oh, heavens. Jesus.
This is gonna be easy. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
You just start at page 63 and then you stop at page 100 and something?
And
This book is really like you're all over the book. It's not laid out well.
something you guys are also going to have to keep in mind is you're going to want to set your swim sight quotient to pound D5. If you don't do that, you're going to lose some of your mana speed
Uh-huh.
Is this a
per
video game?
turn.
Is this a video game reference?
I don't know what's happening either.
Fuck knows. What is this?
Someone help me. Someone help.
In
Well, what are
general,
you
when
saying?
I'm just saying these rules be complicated as fuck, yo.
Tonight I'm gonna dream
I
about
promise
Shadowrun.
you it will be fun, and I will help over email if you need me.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we will. We most certainly will.
I feel like this episode went by in 2 seconds just because we're like jumping everywhere through the manual and be like, I want sunglasses, but those cost $20,000. But this gun costs $200. What do I do?
Yeah.
Okay, that's something. Sunglasses is actually really important.
Ugh.
So
You gotta spend the 20,000 on the sunglasses.
I'm going to go through a couple of things that I think every Shadowrunner needs, unless they are like against technology. And
Okay.
if they're against technology, you need to work out how you're communicating with your group, because that's how people communicate. Like when you're in a battle, you're probably mentally sending information to your allies and using AR to bring it up on their glasses and stuff. So if say Jennifer's got the ability to astrally perceive and she sees a guy in the corner and he's a mage, she could mentally, if she's got the right kit, mentally tag him as a mage and send that to the group kind of thing. So everyone knows that dude's a mage.
Check it out.
Hey, look at that guy.
And that's how we were talking earlier. Like, do you know people are magic? Maybe not. But if you have one person in your group that does and they can do that, then you all know.
So unless you're a decker, like your heart of technology is your comlink. That's kind of like your laptop is nowadays. It's not only how you connect and kind of sets up your wireless network, it's also your protection. So consider any device that you own hackable. Most devices are really easy to hack, so people add them to the comlinks network to protect them. So the comlink, get the most expensive one you can is my advice.
Okay.
To make that appear in your glasses, basically, and which is kind of what you want, you need to do one of two things. You need to get what's called, and I know this is complicated, you need to get a DNI, which is a direct neural interface, which will basically make sounds and allow you to mentally interact with your comm. To do that, you need what's called either a data jack, so a piece of cyberware that's like a data jack, a USB in your head, in your arm somewhere, or trodes. Trodes are basically like, when you're in hospital and they have to put things on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what trodes are.
And magic
Trodes
users can do this too, or is this weird for them?
If you get a data jack and you're a magic user, it's going to reduce your essence and your magic. So you want to use trodes. Yeah. So trodes won't. Data jack will. Any cyberware will reduce your magic. So what you want to do is you want to get yourself a comlink, a DNI device, so either trodes or a data jack, and some glasses or a helmet, or basically some headwear.
Yeah.
And in that you can drop a bunch of stuff like low light vision, thermovision, stuff like that.
Interesting.
But that basically sets up your communication. If you're a decker, you need to you'll find it really unfair because the comlinks actually have a more secure than a deck, but a deck allows you to do a bunch of illegal stuff. For a lot, and a deck costs a lot more money than a comlink. Comlinks are actually quite cheap. The other thing that's really important for a Shadowrunner is a fake sin. So if you have no sin at all, you're really limited. So you want a fake sin, or you want fake licenses for anything restricted. So if you get scanned, or if you have to go through security, you can say, yep, I've got a license for my Desert Eagle looking weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a normal fellow.
Who aren't like
you know,
hassling you all the time.
It's cool.
You have to get a lifestyle, which is basically how you live. You could live on the streets and like eat rats.
You.
That's actually not the common thing. The rats in Shadowrun are devil rats and will probably kill you.
So don't eat those. Eat something
Okay,
different.
got it.
Or if you're like a face and you want to have nice parties, you're going to have a nice house. So you're going to be
Crash
spending.
pad.
Yeah, so you need a high lifestyle.
I mean, I like to get down.
The costs of those are monthly, so that's your monthly cost. Also consider vehicles. If no one's got a vehicle, you're probably going to have to steal cars or use public transport.
Grand Theft Auto, motherfucker.
If you're a specific trade, like if you want to be a medic, you're going to need medic tools or breaking and entering tools.
I like the idea of our party just taking the bus everywhere.
All right. Well, the bus leaves in
Taxi!
15 minutes.
Are there
so-
buses? Are there taxis? Do they have Uber?
Can I text the cab driver?
Then after all that, like to me, that's your core. If you don't have that, that's, you know, you're basically just a mercenary. Then armor and weaponry. Weaponry is actually really cheap.
Phew, thank Christ.
Armor is used to help reduce the damage you take, so it's actually really important. But obviously, if it's really obvious armor, people are going to be...
Like, why are they here and what are they doing?
Why is this robot man talking to my gambling den?
Yeah.
Ammunition's also a big one. It can change the values of your damage, so I'll just tell you, I'll give you a big hint. Look into APDs. It's basically armor-piercing ammunition that makes... If you hit, you're probably going to do a lot of damage.
Okay, okay. Furiously write that down. I'm going to have to listen to this later because there's so many hot
notes.
scoops to
Taking notes.
Exactly.
Taking notes.
It's really hard because like the
I
magician.
got it all up here.
The magician's going to have to buy magical goods. The rigger's going to have to buy like drones. The cyber samurai is going to have to buy cyberware.
I mean, it's
So
just
you kind of
entirely,
just have to.
It's entirely dependent on what you choose.
The
Like,
face is going to have to buy whiskey.
yeah,
and
like a
belts.
lot of it. Fancy whiskey.
How about
So-
this? We'll all do our character gen, and then we'll send it all to you, and then you switch ours with the dice heroes.
Yeah.
I got
And and then we'll have good characters.
and then I can have bad characters.
Instead of
No,
bad.
very bad characters.
And they had to work with
If you want, and if this is too intimidating, grab yourself a pre-gen, but it is rewarding. But the pre-gen will never be as close to you
Yeah,
as
I
something that
think-
you've sweated over.
It
I'll-
sounds really complicated, but I'm kind of super excited.
I'm
to
excited
Yeah,
do it.
exactly.
about it. Yeah, no.
What else are we going to do in that shitty time of 2 to 4 p.m. in the day? Am I right, guys? We all have jobs that we go to at normal times.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Some of us do work. You know, sometimes our bosses come by. And,
I'm my own
and are
boss.
like, "Hey, Jennifer, is that a proposal you're working on? That orc does not fit in with our company plan." And
We're
I'm
building
like,
an
"Well,
orc. We're building an orc.
I'm just saying that I think it looks cool with all of our, business shit.
What you should say is, I don't smoke goddamn cigarettes, but you know what I do smoke? Shadowrunners.
Did you see that new movie coming out about Shadowrun character creation called Noah? Yeah, he's building an orc.
Yeah.
Wow! Wow! All right.
And that is our podcast.
Is that
for
the last
tonight,
thing ever
folks.
said in a Is podcasting canceled by Obama now?
Yeah,
I think we're done
you
forever.
got your own into our podcast.
Wow.
Tandi, thank you for being here for our last podcast. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
But I
Don't
think
be
The podcast
scared.
is too beautiful to live. I couldn't let it happen.
Yeah, put it down. Put it right down.
Uh,
I do think we
email.
can all go and do our character sheet.
Email me any questions, but there are Excel sheets out there that will do a lot of the calcs for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Sweet.
Well, we will pick this up next time, and we'll start our adventure.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Yeah. We'll introduce you to our shadow runners, and
Yeah.
maybe
even create a little backstory for our group, since we can do that. Since we have our memories.
Mm-hmm.
I have something inside my head. I have a
Okay.
dark past.
Well, let's have a little email chain this week. Let's have a little email chain.
Throughout the game, I may throw to you to fill in some details of world and characters and stuff because
Perfect.
I'm a lazy GM.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Okay, so thank you all for joining us. Thanks again to Tandy for helping us out. Check out his podcast at diceheroes.com. And check out our website at geeklyinc.com. We have lots of podcasts on there and lots of other fun videos of video game playing and other interesting things and forums and GeeklyCon and ridiculous stuff. So go look at all of that
Yeah.
and join our little community because it's lots of nice, very wonderful people.
Come be our friend.
We met Tandy because he was in our forums.
Yeah.
So,
This guy's a
there you
nice
go.
guy, and I love him.
Oh wow, Tim! Well, I troll you.
I know,
troll you
you're
all
really
the
mean to
time.
me. I love you so much. It's such a nice thing.
I'll change my ways.
Yay!
Oh, you never want to do that.
So definitely check all that stuff out. Talk to us on Twitter. We're at D&D Podcast or at Geekly Inc. I'm at Thrifty Nerd.
I'm at Tim Lanning.
I'm at Jennifer Cheek.
I'm at the Mike Bachman.
I'm at Dice Heroes.
Yay! So that's going to do it for us this week, everybody. Until next week, that was random.